attentions to events at Goodison Park and what was Manchester City's heaviest league defeat domestically since 2000.
Otamendi, John Stones, okay, maybe is a different story all by himself. But and then Kompany, who is injured most of his life. That's why I don't understand how one of the richest clubs in the world hasn't already bought someone in January.
So if you think that's negligent in this transfer window, what about the summer, where some people are saying they were in dire need of 2 new fullbacks anyway?
Yeah, and they went to spend, 27 million on Gabriel Jesus, who was only going to come in December anyway. And was 45 million on Leroy Sané, who is an amazing young player. There's no doubt about that. And
these are attacking reinforcements, right?
Exactly. So you question the recruitment in the summer already, in a squad that was aging already, that everybody knew. You didn't need to be Pep Guardiola to realize that squad needed strengthening or at least renewing some of its members. And then yet you've got another opportunity in January, yet for just a month, so you have to be careful, and we know that in January it's not always easy because prices go up and etc. Yet it's another opportunity that so far you've neglected again. I don't understand, I really don't understand.
City's recruitment policy over a period of 2 or 3 seasons has been poor.
Yeah.
You know, everybody thought Begiristain and Soriano, 2 guys who'd been at Barcelona, worked together there very successfully. People thought they would come in and really take City's recruit level to the next stage. They haven't done. There's been some disastrous signings. City paid 40 million, more or less, 42 million for Mangala, Layaquim Mangala, who was meant to be the young defender that they could mould and would sit alongside Kompany and be formidable. It's just not happened. He's now out on loan. Look at all the players City have got out on loan. Joe Hart, perfectly good goalkeeper, many would say. Yet Claudio Bravo is being exposed virtually week in, week out in the Premier League. That's a real big mystery, why that situation has developed. Then you've got Nasri out on loan. Boney, another Wilfred Boney, 28 million, I think in a January window last year or the year before. Another big signing that's flopped. So City have got a track record in recent times of poor signings, and people say, oh, well, Pep hasn't had a transfer window. Well, he has, because he had the summer where they brought players in.
And he would have had a say, surely.
Of course he would have. He would have had a say in that as well. You know, the only player for me that they brought in recent times, the last 18 months, that has been absolutely top draw, has been Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
You know, everybody else has flopped.
In terms of the charge sheet, right, you look at Manchester City spending over the summer, £167 million, the most of any Premier League club. And to be left with a squad against Everton, of which 8 of the matchday squad were 30 or over, almost doesn't make sense, does it?
Doesn't at all. It's baffling. I find it for a club like City, it's baffling. Unless Pep has said, and he might have done because he has a huge opinion of himself, I can do wonders with these squads. That's what I need. I need Sané, I need Bravo, because I want to go whose distribution is great, although he can't save a bloody ball. But anyway, I need Bravo, I need Sané, I need Stones, and that's it. With the rest, don't worry, I will do it. I'll do my thing. Philippe Lam, I moved him from right back to centre. I'm going to do the same with Zabaleta. But no, it's not the same. No. It's not the same. So unless Pep said that and he got it completely wrong because he thought he could do a miracle with this squad, which he can't.
Yeah.
I think it's
almost like the imperfect storm, isn't it? Because he's been given a bad hand, perhaps, by the board in terms of where the money's gone, with a manager who is so, I suppose, insistent on playing the way he wants to, with a bunch of players who clearly can't adapt to his ways. It's come together to make a very underwhelming season so far.
But Manish, you said before, they had a great start to the season. They were looking awesome. For a couple of months, they looked fantastic. It was almost a repeat of the time where City got off to that flying start under Pellegrini and then suddenly fell away. People were saying in sort of August, September, gosh, how's the Premier League going to stop this Pep team? But it's kind of all fallen away. And I think, you know, when you come to the Premier League and you try to change things so dramatically, that Pep has done, you're not making subtle changes. Like Conte has made subtle changes at Chelsea. He's gone to 3 at the back. He's not devised a whole new way of playing. It's a subtle tactical change. What Guardiola is trying to do at City is to implement a philosophy, a complete philosophy. Now, we've already seen in Manchester with Louis van Gaal, that didn't work.
No.
You can't really change a club that dramatically. in a short time in the Premier League, because you get found out, you get exposed, and you suffer beatings like you did at Everton at the weekend, and like we saw at Leicester. So Pep's got to, and Pep has actually kind of changed tack. He's been 3 at the back, he's been 4 at the back, he's having his 2 fullbacks digging into midfield, but he's abandoned that and gone 4-4-2. It's almost as if he's kind of struggling himself. And we saw that amazing kind of picture of him just in a trance, staring into space after one of those kind of after an Everton goal. And you just wondered what was going through his mind at that point, because here's a coach who's never ever been in this situation before, not at Barcelona, not at Bayern Munich, where his teams romp to victory more or less every week, and he's finding this a whole different ballgame.
I know he gets irked, does Pep Guardiola, about journalistic questions, about his adaptability to the Premier League, saying that he's struggling, and he feels, I think, that it's almost a battle between the British press seeing a man fail with the best CV ever, and how he's going to get about doing it. Whether there's a bit of cynicism to say that this guy's not going to be a success. I mean, but there's not to say that, of course. With the squad he's got on hand, though, Julian, is he going to make wholesale changes, or is he just going to tweak it in this month?
In this month?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's going to make any drastic changes. I can't see anyone coming in, or at least there's no one is linked to City, at least for this month. They are linked, like Aubameyang, like Alexis Sanchez and other players before the summer. Not for now, where I think this squad needs new players, new blood now. Whether you would spend 50 million on Van Dijk now, I think that would be a very, very interesting signing and very competent signing for them. But clearly they're not ready to do that. So I don't know, like Beatty said, he will have to keep looking for what the best way would be. But it's a hell of a task. It really is.
And this is today's papers, actually. We've got Daily Express and The Sun here, talking about the future with Pep and what is he going to do to this Manchester City squad. In The Express, Pep plots purge. The City boss will ditch his flops. He's planning a mass clear-out, but this is saying in the summer, in a bid to rebuild Manchester City in the wake of City's heavy defeat at Everton. And £100 million is the headline on the back page of today's Sun. Now, I mean, this is going to be huge news should this come to fruition. City tell Barca record fee won't put them off Messi. Manchester City have told Barcelona, we will pay £100 million to sign Messi. Sunsport understands negotiations between executives of both clubs were held at the end of last month to determine if a world record transfer is possible. It looks great in writing. I just feel that looks highly unlikely.
It's unlikely. I mean, you know, I think everybody in football knows it's highly unlikely that Messi will leave Barcelona. It's just unlikely. And I don't think City need Lionel Messi at the moment. What they need, like a Puyol, you know, Carlos Puyol, who he was the glue that held Barcelona together, or a Piqué. City needs some really top draw defenders. I don't think there's any question that Manchester City going forward are fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, They showed the other week at West Ham when they won in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
They demolished them with some fantastic attacking football. De Bruyne, Sterling, Aguero, fantastic players. So I don't think that it's David Silva. The problem is not going forward. The problem is finding that balance where you have to defend as well. And there's nowhere more than in the Premier League where you have to defend. Okay, Bundesliga and Barcelona, yeah, sure you do. But the emphasis more for Pep in those games was he had a formidable team, and it was more about going out every game and kind of killing the opposition. You can't do that in the Premier League every week. We've seen that already. And I think Pep said I was in a briefing with him recently where he said that he's got an ageing squad. He knows that. I think that's a problem that should have been addressed a year or 2 years ago. City haven't really recruited any really good young players and integrated them into the team, as perhaps Manchester United have done in recent seasons, and as Liverpool are doing now. City need to start sort of doing that. But I think for the moment, with Kompany obviously having major issues, I think they need some top quality, proven defenders. As Gillian's just said, like Virgil van Dijk, he would be, for me, a priority signing in January.
Considering where City are right now, and they have this fantastic campus at the Etihad Stadium, don't they, to the cost of £250 million. It is exquisite. I mean, I saw it for the first time only a month back.
Yeah.
But it almost highlights that, there is the foundations, the future look great. They already have kids in the wings, don't they?
Yeah.
The right back, Mafio, is there, Garcia midfield. Should they want to call upon them, could they do a better job than some of the players in those positions right now?
Yeah, probably it's a good question. I think Pep, of all people, would be the right one for that because he's got such a great track record of, starting young players everywhere he's been before. Joshua Kimmich, for example, at Bayern Munich, is the latest one where he played the guy everywhere, and everywhere the guy played, he was amazing. So I think if he has identified some of those youngsters, and they have amazing young, they've got the best youth teams in the whole of Europe, whatever the age.
Yeah.
You pick an age, they've got the best team. So they have that, and you're right. But the present is so important, and that's why I don't understand how come they wasted all of last summer with that aging squad. And again, already 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks in this transfer window, because you can have the best youngsters in the world. If you can't qualify for the next 5-6 Champions League in a row, they will all go as well. And I think the present is as more important probably for them as the future.
The problem for City was that Pep was meant to be the Messiah.
Yeah.
He was going to lead them into the promised land and take the club to a level where they'd never been before. City, with Soriano, the Soriano and Begiristain, the two Spaniards, they've always been detailed from the minute they stepped into the Etihad Stadium.
Who says he was the Messiah, though? Who said that he
Pep.
came as the Messiah?
Well, he was.
Yeah,
that was the general perception, that he would be the main man for City. I think he's always been identified at City as that man who would basically deliver all their dreams. It's not happening at the moment. Listen, we know how quickly football turns round.
Yeah.
It can change round. City could really have a storming second half to the season, but they need the recruitment is the key area for me.
Well, it's interesting. We did touch on the future for Manchester City and the youngsters, because